The Founding Fathers repeatedly declared that it could not exist as a viable document unless, first and foremost, there existed a moral people. John Adams summarized their feelings in these words: "Our Constitution," he said, "was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." Why his reference to religion? Because the Founding Fathers knew that religion was the best catalyst for establishing a moral people.
You cannot have a moral people without religion, and you cannot have a type of morality that our civilization can build upon and have what we have unless that religion is Christianity. He doesn't really dive into that specifically in his speech, but I promise you from everything I've studied and what I'm writing a book about right now proves that. You can't have that. Like you have to have a Christian foundation. The West's foundation is Christianity. We have a Christian influenced culture, or had in America, and now what do we have? Well, it became secularism, and now it's kind of like whoever wants to throw their junk in there as long as Christ is not a part of it. And we wonder why we're in decline, right?
Some years ago, Harvard professor Clayton Christensen had a profoundly insightful conversation with a Marxist economist from China who was in Boston on a Fulbright scholarship. He asked him if he had learned anything that was surprising or unexpected while in the United States. Without hesitation, the man replied, "Yes, I had no idea how critical religion is to the functioning of democracy. Democracy works best because most people, most of the time, voluntarily choose to obey the law." He then added that Americans followed the rules because they had come to believe they weren't just accountable to society, they were accountable to God.
So isn't that fascinating that a very, very important part of our Latter-day Saint religion is agency? To paraphrase what Bednar says, you have your agency so that you may choose good over the evil, to choose God. That's why it's given to you. And if we were to relate it to the political context, to civilizational context, you have your agency. And if you choose good more often than bad, you can have a free, prosperous nation, liberty. That's how this works. That's the only way that our society works. If you look at anyone else who has a non-Christian culture, the only way it works for them is compulsory means. It's compulsion. And that's what we're headed towards.
Professor Christensen then expressed concern over what would happen to our democracy if religion were diminished in America and people were no longer voluntarily chose to obey the law. He then offered this tragic conclusion. The founding thought, if you take away religion, he said, you cannot hire enough police. The founding fathers understood this principle. The more the morality and religion, the less the need for government intervention and compulsory enforcement.
You cannot legislate morality, but legislation is based upon the morality of the people, which is based upon the religious influence of the people. Where do their values lie? Where do their what do their belief systems tell them? Who is their God? Who are they accountable to? We should be constantly preaching the gospel, the righteousness that the people must have, that is incumbent upon us if we want to maintain all the goods we have enjoyed because of the sacrifice of other people. That is a very simple and easy sacrifice we can make if we want America and its greatness to continue.